Good evening, everyone. This is Rod Larson, CEO of Shopley. It's just about 7 o'clock straight up here in Texas, and it is time for us to start our vendor education Zoom for this week. Take a minute, please, and jump onto the Q&A and give us a shout, as we always like to do. Tell us where you're coming in from, calling in from, joining us from. Give us a shout out, and we like to recognize the people that we have a time to do that recognition for, and the areas and the teams. But we thank you. It's a few minutes after the top of the hour. We have 2 and hopefully 3 great vendors to join us here tonight on Shopley, and want to make sure that they get a chance to jump in. We have some representation from other parts of the world, which is not the first time, but it is absolutely great to have you joining here with us tonight. So all of you do take a chance here also, if you don't mind, and send out a text to members of your team above you, in your organization, friends, others. Have them join in and take a chance to get to know these great vendors that are going to spend some time with us tonight and introduce themselves. So don't forget, of course, to jump on the Q&A and drop a hello to us from wherever you are joining the Zoom from. We'd love to have you do that. Tito, always great to have you here. Welcome from Tennessee. And the rest of you, go ahead and just straight to the Q&A. We don't usually leave the chat open on a Zoom. We do that on strategy calls, but on a Zoom like this, we usually keep the chat closed. So if you're hearing me, jump straight to the bottom of your screen where you see Q&A, click on it, and just throw your country, city, wherever you're coming in from. And thank you for doing that. Welcome from Canada. Also another portion of Canada from British Columbia, and also Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. We also have some members on from down under as well, so thank you for that. And we will get started here shortly. We have 2 fantastic guests, and a third we hope will be joining us this evening. And usually we would have a backstage going where I could jump through and have a little training or introduction with some of these vendors. And so because we don't have that today, they'll be joining. And so the last one, I've had a chance to get to know Dean and Jade for just a few minutes. But our third vendor, if he's able to join on, I may take a split second and have a conversation with him somehow on the side while we get him ready. So I want to say thank you to each of you for joining us. Take one last chance, if you can. Send a text out, or give a quick call. But ask some of your team members to join us so that they can help also spread the word on these vendors that are with us this evening. Again, my name is Rod Larson. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Shopley. My privilege to be with you on Thursday nights is actually my favorite Zoom to do, because it really shows, it's indicative really of how the vendors are coming on for Shopley, and the types of vendors, the high quality types of vendors that are joining us, that give you an opportunity with their products. And so without waiting any further, let me recognize a few others that have been able to share their location with us. Yeah, we got some from Aussie holding up there for us, jumping in. And we please take a chance, folks, and give us where you're calling from. We may jump into that again later in the call as well. So I am going to go ahead and open up and ask Dean Kilby to turn on his camera, turn on his sound, and join us. Dean is one of I think the owner, but I'm not certain, of Simpler Health. I think, right? If I'm getting that right, Dean?
That's
And
correct.
Dean is joining us from, I think you said Brisbane or Sydney? Sydney.
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 Yeah.
He's joining us from Sydney, Australia. So wonderful. Thanks for spending a little bit of time on your Friday morning with us. We really appreciate it. So Dean, I'm going to pass it over to you. You should be able to share screen. I'm going to make sure that multiple panelists can share simultaneously. There you go. You've got control of it. Dean, we are anxious to hear about your story, about Simpler Health's story, and what your vision is with your product. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Fantastic. Appreciate the opportunity. My name is Dean Kilby. I'm the founder and CEO of Simpler Health. As a health services company, so I have a background as a scientist, a medical biochemist, cell biologist. I've had research interests in molecular virology, metabolic disease, regenerative medicine, stem cells, through to immune cell therapy for cancer treatment as well. So it's a real opportunity to be able to participate in the Shopley phenomena, and looking forward to see what kind of a difference we can make in people's lives on this platform. So I am half Filipino. That's why I look like this. I was born and raised here in Australia in a country town called Bendigo, just near Melbourne. That's why I sound like this. And I've been here in Sydney for over 25 years now. So why don't I, just in terms of my company, Simpler Health is, as I said, health services, but also develop infrastructure in the region, working with the Indonesian government at the moment to set up regenerative healthcare facilities in their efforts to transform their healthcare system. Be doing same in the Philippines, India, and one or two other places. But for purpose and intention of Shopley, really focusing on our programs that support metabolic health. Metabolic health is of utmost importance, especially in this day and age. Most people are metabolically unwell. A large majority of people are overweight and obese, and struggling to be able to deal with it. So I developed a structure, a program that assists people in restoring their metabolic health, not just losing weight, but actually restoring health for life. And that's our website, simplerhealth.com.au. And if I can share, where is it? So restoring metabolic health, which is foundational to a number of different disease states that people deal with, from cardiometabolic disease, cancer, brain disorders, vascular disease, but just generally aging and the threat of frailty as we get older. There's a number of symptoms and disease states that people deal with. Underlying all of these is oxidative stress and resultant inflammation, which can be very powerfully handled via nutrition, interestingly enough. It puts the power in your hands. I developed this disease progression model, which positions severe morbidity and mortality at the top of the pyramid. Underneath that, if people are really sick or they pass away, one might ask why. There was often a diagnosis of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, they had a stroke. There was the earlier onset of dementia, osteoarthritis, which is the leading cause of pain and disability, also cancer as a leading threat as we get older. But if you look beneath that, what have people been tolerating for a long period of time? And human beings have a phenomenal capacity to tolerate states of unworkability for a really long period of time. That includes weight gain, gut bloating, joint pain, decreased sexual vitality, brain fog, inability to make decisions, lethargy, etc. And if we just focus on what I think are the three core areas of foundational health, which are metabolic health, gut health, and cognitive health, that can make an enormous difference in our experience of being alive and the experience of being at ease with regards to our future health. I developed this structure where Simpler Health, we have a number of health coaches that guide people through their health journey. We work with, and I've trained a number of regenerative medicine experts that can utilize various regenerative medicine models that can help heal the process. And we take advantage of the emerging technologies that are arising, everything from advanced hyperbaric oxygen therapy through to other modalities. But foundational to all of it is the health coaching approach, and in particular, nutrition. We have a structure, a protocol that enables people to restore their health and not just lose the weight, but significantly reduce the inflammation and transform their cellular biology. We have clinical studies that demonstrate, you know, 15% loss of total starting body weight within 12 weeks. This is a consistent outcome compared to the Ozempic medications, the GLP-1 receptor agonists, that accomplish those results with diet and exercise over a 12-month period. But we accomplish this within 12 weeks without strenuous exercise and no drugs. We've demonstrated it in patients that are taking medications like statin drugs to reduce triglyceride levels. Sick patients, this is post-breast cancer patients, in 19 weeks, losing 20% of total starting body mass, significantly reducing markers of inflammation, which is why they're able to recover so readily. So I got into this because I had a stem cell clinic where we're utilizing people's stem cells derived from their own fat tissue to restore function in joints when they had degenerative joint disorders like osteoarthritis. This is a woman who was scheduled for total joint replacement surgery. We're able to take the stem cells from her fat. Fat's not always bad. You've got per gram of tissue 500 times more stem cells in your fat tissue as compared to bone marrow. And a bone marrow transplant is in and of itself a stem cell procedure. So there's no point in putting the stem cells in if you don't handle metabolic health. So metabolic health, why people gain weight and the inability to lose weight, is predominantly because excess insulin. And insulin is a pro-inflammatory hormone. So it's like what I say to people here in Australia when we have bushfires. You can't think about regenerating the bush until you first put the fire out. So in the human body, you got to handle the inflammation first and foremost. So this is her in the aftermath. She's holding a silicon model of fat. That's 5 pounds of fat. For those of you that are in the United States, 2.27 kilograms. So that's multiples of them dispersed throughout our body, can have detrimental impacts. Help people lose a lot of weight that maybe have never been able to. This woman here lost 46 kilograms, and she was able to also start a family, which was an amazing outcome. This guy here lost 96 kilograms. So it's a very sustainable, healthful approach. Yes, there is some skin laxity at the end of that, but he had a lot of weight to lose. But this is to demonstrate that 96 kilograms can be lost without strenuous exercise, no drugs, no surgery. A number of other people with different disorders, weight loss issues, whether they're healing from musculoskeletal issues. This guy in the top corner, he had an Achilles rupture and wasn't able to exercise. So we took him through this process and he was able to heal in record time. All the way down to the opposite corner, this gentleman was vegan. I have no philosophical recommendations. I don't care. I'm a biochemist and we deal with things biochemically, and we teach people how to do that via food. People deal with various skin and gut disorders. This is a 44-year-old woman who had psoriasis covering 75% of her body ever since she was the age of 8 and never been able to handle it. Incredible what can happen when you reconstitute the gut microbiome. These photos are 3 weeks apart. This can also make a big difference with more severe skin disorders. This is a 26-year-old male with very severe eczema, depressed, suicidal. And again, these photographs are 3 weeks apart. So that's kind of a bit of a background of the programs that Simpler Health offers. And with regards to, where are we? Shoply, I'm learning about this platform and how to make the use of it, most use of it. So we've got some hero products that we've uploaded, making available for people. So the key when you're losing weight is you got to make sure you have an adequate amount, not necessarily a high amount, but an adequate amount of protein consumption throughout the day, not just in one bolus hit at the end of the day. Now, to do that, you've got to make sure if you're losing weight, you get good quality protein that's easily digested, easily absorbed, and easily assimilated. And you've got to be able to utilize these sort of partial meal replacement products that allow you to get sufficient protein, but still keeping the total caloric intake low enough for you to drive the weight loss. And we've got some cool products here. These protein bars from Smart Diet Solutions are the manufacturer, and we're supplying them here on the Shotley platform. We utilize these bars a good 60 grams net weight. You got to chew them. Mastication, chewing is absolutely critical in terms of restoring health. These bars have a good 20 grams of protein, whey protein. They've got no maltitol and sorbitol, none of these sugar alcohols. They're just sweetened with a bit of stevia, a multitude of flavors, which make them really enjoyable with enough variety to be able to sustain this approach and give people snack options that they'll continue to consume. Bear Well provides the whey protein shakes. These are New Zealand grass-fed derived whey protein, minimal ingredients. I really like that. They're not filled up with a bunch of different multivitamins and minerals and fiber and MCTs, none of that. It's just the whey protein. They're really great flavors. We've got whey protein isolates and concentrates. The flavors are natural, chocolate, vanilla, and berry flavored. The berry flavored one is, especially the isolate, is delicious. If you just have it with water, it's less creamy. It's more of a refreshing, fruity flavored drink, which is important to give people that experience whilst they're dieting. They also come in individual single-serve sachets as well, which is convenient. And the additional selling point on those products is they don't have the Bear Well shakes don't have any vegetable or guar gum in there for the more sensitive guts. We also have, in terms of cellular health, Continual G, which is the world's only product supplement that contains a chemical or a molecule called gamma-glutamyl cysteine. Gamma-glutamyl cysteine, in other words, glycine, is a molecule that's the precursor to glutathione. Glutathione is our master antioxidant, and where you want that antioxidant most powerful is inside the cells. And this is the only supplement in the world that has been clinically demonstrated to effectively elevate intracellular glutathione levels above homeostasis. So that's a product that's manufactured in the United States. And I actually consult to this biotech company as well. And we're doing a lot of research, particularly in terms of brain restoration, brain health restoration. I'll work with my colleagues in the United States, and we're looking at doing some clinical studies with the NFL as well. In terms of gut health, ProGood products, these are a synbiotic, which means they've got both the probiotic and the prebiotic combined. That's important to ensure that when you take the probiotic, they arrive in the gut in trillions of cells. So there's an amplification of that probiotic once you consume it into the gut in those high enough numbers that are sufficient to suppress the growth of the bad bacteria and assist in restoring gut health. Now, I'm a big fan of lifestyle products. I also own the winedoctor.com.au. That's an alcoholic beverage, but we haven't got that on Shotley. But what we do have is Soul Tonic. Soul Tonic is a product that you take prior to consuming alcohol, and it helps to mitigate the detrimental effects the next day. So we call it a hangover relief beverage, which is a great product in addition to these other products that help people restore metabolic health for those that are at an optimal weight and metabolic health, and they want to enjoy life but mitigate the detrimental effects of some of these indulgences. This is a fantastic product to have on hand. I'm happy to answer any questions, but please let me know if there's anything further you'd like me to share.
Well, I think this is fascinating, Dean. I think you you might represent. Oh, I think leave your storefront up there real quick because I think it's really impressive. I think you might represent one of the very first vendor relationships we have that you're consulting as a scientist with companies that are manufacturing products that you then support. This is how I'm interpreting it. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you take the Soltonic brand, for example, I'm consulting with the owner of that company to develop some new products with her manufacturers in Korea. And we're developing hydration products and brain nootropic products as well. I'm on the board of directors of the Willamere Center for Advanced Research in Neurotrauma and Brain Rehabilitation, which is an organization set up in Los Angeles with a famous neurobiologist called Kristen Willamere. She's the author of Biohack Your Brain. So I work collaboratively with top scientists and manufacturers to advise on how best to design these products for not just great taste, not just will it sell off the shelf, but will it demonstrate clinical outcomes that make a powerful, profound, and lasting difference in people's lives?
Oh, that's fantastic. Really fascinating. I have a couple of questions, more operational, I guess, than even product based. But I noticed you mentioned one, and I believe that it is the one at the bottom there, probably on your second page then, because the Bearwell, I think those are all New Zealand, right? And then
New
these
Zealand, right?
next ones here, the Continual G, these I think you said were manufactured in the United States, correct?
Yeah, the manufacturing, it's quite a difficult product to manufacture, and the
Yeah,
manufacturing's been set up in Houston, Texas. And so Continual G, it's manufactured in the US. It has GRAS status, generally regarded as safe
yeah.
for sale in the United States. Continual G is available online, and we're making it available here. It's currently available in capsule form and also in these small single-serve sachets as well that you can mix with water. The sachet also contains a little bit of prebiotic fiber called sun
Mm,
fiber that's
hmm.
manufactured in Japan. So that also assists for gut health as well.
Love it. Very
Yeah.
cutting edge, very premium. But since it's manufactured in the United States, it draws my question then. Is it available in Australia and in the United States from your store here on Shopley, or only in Australia, New Zealand? Where are you shipping this product and perhaps your other products? Tell us where you're available.
Yeah, Continual G is available for people to purchase online anywhere.
Okay.
It's very, very accessible and available for those customers in the United States, obviously, but can, be purchased here in Australia as well. So that,
Perfect.
yeah, given that Shopley is a US-based company, that's
Yeah,
pretty straightforward. Uh,
sure.
ProGood, these probiotics. So you look, the jar, this needs to be refrigerated because it's both the prebiotic and the
And
probiotic
yes.
combined. This green box is what we call the travel pack. So the sachets, they're separated the prebiotic from the probiotic, and you combine them upon use. They're separated because it extends the viability of the probiotic at ambient temperature,
Mm,
which makes it great for travel purposes. That's manufactured here in Australia, and they're already have a good number of customers in the United States. So we can absolutely get the product to US customers as well. And the whey products are a little bit different. They're available in Australia and New Zealand. Any kind of products that contain whey, it's a little bit more difficult cross-border.
yes. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. And I'm glad you said it because I was going to, if you're familiar with these types of products and trying to get them shipped around the world, whey or anything that is viewed to be milk related is always much more difficult to do cross border, get import rights to. So I totally appreciate it, how you've structured the business and the fact that you set it up where you've got customers have access to things both in your home country where you operate mostly, but also here in the United States, which is fantastic. So, folks, I hope that you'll take a minute and get to know Simpler Health and have a chance to choose some of the products, send links out, make a post on the products. Let's do what we do at Shopley. So, Dean, I really appreciate you spending some time with us. I love this product line. I'm going to order some of this from that's available from the US side. I'm a big believer in getting my products at the company that we're all building together. And so I order most of my pet food, a lot of my supplements, and some other, trinkets, things like that from our store. And that selection is just continuing to increase. So, Dean Kilby, welcome to Shopley from Down Under. And we appreciate your acute scientific approach. Very, very cool to get to know you a little bit. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I look forward to having some of our programs be made available on the Shopley platform as well, so we can educate people and not just provide the products, but really leave people at the source of their own health.
Well, I love that vision. Because, folks, I think what that does is it paints the picture to you of the connection between both physical products and e-learning and education. We would love to have that up there as well, Dean. And then once you do get that up there, why don't you work through Rachel McVinish, I think is who's probably helping you get things going there. She is director of that portion of the APAC market for us. So work with her to tell us when it's up. And I think certainly you should come back on and do another presentation and then work that direction as well. So thank you so much for your time, Dean. We'll say goodbye to you for now. All right. And Jade Winsley, we're going to bring you up on screen and make a quick introduction to you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jade. I'm going to do a quick aside. I'm going to do a quick aside, and I'm going to turn on the video for Jeff Kalatsky, who was going to be joining us, but he happens to be on a flight. I think he tried to reach out and jump on from the airplane. Jeff, it's going to be a bit awkward, my man, to have you jump in and join us from there. I appreciate the effort, and we're going to hold a spot for you for next week so you can be unfettered, uninhibited for a great presentation, all right? Let's unmute you as well. There we go.
Thank you very much. I look forward to that.
Okay, good. Have a safe flight.
Unmuted.
Have a safe flight, and this way we won't have to interrupt you or your other fellow passengers. All right. You're welcome to listen. You're welcome to listen in and get kind of a vibe for how we do our vendor education nights. And we look forward to having you on next week. Okay, be safe.
Perfect. Thanks.
You bet. Bye-bye. Jade, thanks for allowing me that little intro there for a second. Since he took the time to come on and join us from the airplane, I figured I need to at least wave at him and say hi.
Not a problem at all.
All right, Jade. So you and I only recognize you, the name of your brand, from looking at lists of vendors that were working through the process to come on board. And I know that you worked very hard to become part of the Shopley platform at Lux Lioness. And I know what you do, and I know what your background is to an extent, right? But I would love for you to share the story, give them where you're from, what you do, how long you've been doing it, just everything, and show us your storefront, everything else. You also have the ability to share the screen. So, Jade Winsley,
Beautiful.
Thank you for joining us from Down Under as well.
Thank you for having me here, Rod. I'm actually really excited to be here, and Shopley is just, I love the concept of it, and it's just different, and that excites me, that it's not just like anything else. Like, it's not like Amazon where it's just product and digital based. This is actually, about creating movements and creating products that actually change people's lives, and I absolutely love that. So, hello, I am Jade Winsley, and I am the founder of Lux Lioness Branding and Marketing. And, if you've never heard of Lux Lioness before, like, you're about to feel me roar, right? That's the passion and everything I have behind this brand. The lion, everything that screams me, right? And, this is not just another online brand or just another Shopley store. This is actually, my passion is about creating that bold movement for women and men, who are done building everybody else's dream and finally ready to build something on their own. And look, just a little background story on me. I am originally a New Zealander, and I left school and came to Australia. Always lived in Sydney, sort of on the outskirts, and very much that country girl at heart. And yeah, I've been here for 27 years now. So if you do the maths, you can work out how old I am. So that's all good. But yeah, you know, and just coming through, life of, leaving school and coming to Australia on my own. My father was here, and, all I wanted to do was work. I'm very work focused and work orientated. And, I worked for so many people and gave so many people my all that I actually left nothing for myself. And when I brought my children into the world, I have two beautiful children, and having to take them to work with me, and everything revolved around work. And it just got to a point in my life after I had my daughter that I openly share that the mental health and not wanting to be here was very much where all of this came forth through. And, I created a business during COVID in one of my very darkest places. And it basically just came to light that, my passion was to inspire women. So, we didn't have to struggle, and it was very much about self-love. And what I found in that is my passion was not so much to help women struggling. It was people and women who had started in the online space and really didn't have any idea of how to just be you online, how to show up, how to be real, how to be raw. And Lux Lioness was born from that. And it was basically a breaking point, and I was a burnout mum. I was trying to create a business that just wasn't making money, and I was running around in circles. And you know in the background, I'd been building everybody else's dream but not my own, stuck in someone else's schedule, someone else's rules, and someone else's version of success. And I became exhausted and felt invisible, disconnected from my voice, like my vision, until the day came and that line in the sand moment was drawn. It was like, what do I actually want to do? And that was it. I actually resigned from my job. I walked away from all that hustle, the noise, the fakeness, and I started choosing me. And Lux Lioness was born from that moment. And now I get to help others do the same. And when I get into the actual brand of everything, like Lux Lioness is very much about personal branding, but it's got a bite to it. It is very raw and real. And it's about helping, showing women especially, but I do work with like males, and that is, I have some really beautiful relationships with men in the online space. And it's about how to actually show up online as that bold, powerful version of yourself. And, there's a lot of shame in our stories, right? In the lives. And, if you've gone through domestic violence, or, there's so many things, depression, that mental health, and so many underlying stories. But those moments have actually defined who you are in this life. Well, not so much defined, but actually refined. And I love that version, right? Because you are not defined because of something, you have grown. And that's what I help people do, and I've got the real strategies, real systems, and a whole lot of no BS, right? Lux Lioness is all about clarity, because confused brands don't sell. Confidence, because your voice is actually your superpower. And connection. Everybody craves connection. They crave that real and that rawness, right? People don't just buy products, they buy you. So there's no fluff, there's no filters. And Lux Lioness creates that magnetic, unfiltered, unapologetic, profitable personal brands that actually connect and convert. And that fills me up. I love seeing people just coming out into themselves and owning that raw and that realness, and not showing just the highlights of life, that you guide through people through everything, because life is not perfect, nothing is perfect. And there's so many defining moments in our life that create that next thing, and that transformation coming through that journey is so empowering for everybody else. And that's what I help bring out in personal branding. So what makes Lux Lioness different is that everything is story driven. It's Yes, it's all about you, but it's how we actually create that into making your content feel more about them. And that's where the sales and, that's where everything else comes from. And, I designed to empower. We don't just sell tools or freedom, we actually sell identity and ownership. And every offer that I've added to Shoply as a service, as there'll be more digital products and everything coming in at a later stage, but for now the passion lies in having that personalized session. Like, every product comes with a one-on-one strategy call, and what that means is it's about actually getting to know who you are, what is your why, how you sell, how you do things, and really break that open into a million pieces and craft it from there. And that's really how we sell that freedom and that identity and take ownership. And everything is in alignment with the real journey of online business. And it's those messy and those bold human moments, and that becomes wildly profitable when it's done right. So when someone actually buys from Lux Lioness, they're not just walking away with a product or a service, they're walking away with momentum. And look, I'd love to just share the products that I've got and just give you a quick glimpse of, what's available. And that's coming up. Yep, beautiful. So basically, Lux Lioness is at this moment very service based, but I will be moving forward into done for you products where you can customize everything yourself. But having and being able to create that brand for you is where that difference lies. And I've got quite a few products on here, or services, I should say, that really sort of ignite your authority. They get you to own your space and really just become who you are, and sharing that real, that raw, that vulnerable, that openness. And that's where these brands are built from, right? And basically, there's social media marketing, there is website and sales funnels. Like, sales funnels are my main passion, and really bringing out that personal brand, your story, your why, who you help, why you help them, and how you help them is probably the biggest thing there. And one of the biggest problems that I've seen in so many sales funnels and content that network marketers, affiliate marketers, digital marketers that I see, they actually have no intent or anything behind their content. They're just posting for sakes of posting, or they're spamming with products after products after products, but there's no story behind that. And stories sell. When you're sharing yourself and your journey, what you're doing is you're actually making people feel things. And that's where that connection, and that where people resonate with you. And that is something that so many people don't do. And with these products, everything is custom. There is no just one set product and off you go, you purchase and off you go. Everything is custom designed for you. And that's the beauty of these products. So there's no two products the same. Every single one is absolutely unique. And that's where you get to shine, and you're owning your brand, and, finding your vision and how you empower and, inspire other people. And that's that's where it all lies, right? And sharing the truth of who you really are is a big thing. So when we look at Shoply, like there is quite a few different levels of those services. So for social media marketing, you can start with just a very basic one of a couple of posts per week, right up until full blown multiple platforms. And just depending on where you're at, what you require, that all leads into that strategy call, right? That's where we unpack what's going to be actually the best suited for you. And whether you want a website or a sales funnel built, I'm very much about the customer value journey. So it's starting with where, creating that awareness to that engagement, to that connection and everything that falls down that line. And there's always what's next, because you don't just want a landing page or a sales funnel that sells or offers something and there's nothing at that end. There's always got to be a core offer, and you're always leading someone into something next. Like it's ever evolving, right? And that is something that's really, I'm very passionate and proud that I can actually share that with people. So with Shoply, these products are on here for, if you were deciding that you wanted to become like an affiliate for it and share these products and services, some of the tips that I can actually give you is leading with your own experience. What shifted for you when you found your voice or claimed your story, because that's what sells. And then using that language of truth, using phrases like no more playing small, stop building someone else's dream. Like this is your brand now, right? And you are your brand, and you want to be focusing on the transformation. Our products help get women clear and build magnetic content that actually starts selling without actually losing your soul in the process. And you want to be making it obviously personal, not pitchy, and starting those conversations, like asking questions. And the more deeper that you go with those questions, if you're talking to people in your DMs, if you're, responding to comments, just being real. That is just the most genuine and authentic version of yourself that you can build those beautiful relationships and how you make those sales, right? And I've made it really easy with, affiliate assets. Like I've got a bank of assets that I can share that, to help you promote these if that's what you're after. So just to close this off, I will just say, like, if you've ever wanted to represent a brand that actually means something, this is your moment. Like Lux Lioness is more than just a business, right? It's actually a mirror, a movement, and a mission. There's a legacy to be left here, and we're here to help women and men roar back into their power, own their voice, and actually finally start building something that belongs to them. When you think about social media, it can be taken away from you in an instant, right? The platforms you don't own, but your brand, nobody can take that away from you. And you can start over as many times as you need to. And that is, that's what is so exciting. And I'm proud of what, I'm building here, but I'm more even excited to actually have you all a part of it. So this is all about selling with soul and sharing that fire and, letting people, create a brand that people can't scroll past. So
I love
thank you
it.
so much.
I think it's a very unique offering, Jade. And I really like seeing this here. I've been kind of following a few Q&A questions here from people, and I think maybe if I ask you a few questions and we do a little give and take here, that will answer a bunch of them that I've seen here on the screen. So I see what you do as a a la carte menu, or also a menu that could be taken significant pieces at a time. 4 or 5 different sections can be taken at a time, depending on the status of any person or their brand right now. They could start from the beginning or they could be refreshed, and that's your expertise. Whether that's, it appears one of your great strengths, it seems to me, to be that you're able to converse with your clients and, you know, break apart, peel back the layers and get to the essence of what they want to be and how they want to promote themselves and their brand and their products, right? So that really
Yeah.
important key start. And then it depends on what they're looking for. So, for example, I noticed that you had what I think appeared to be sort of self-help guideline books, like one about branding and getting one was a kit that was like, here's sort of it appeared to be a do-it-yourself kind of thing. But then also the larger kits would include, or the larger products would include that touch. So if I need that, I go ahead. So if I'm somebody here on this Zoom tonight, I'm thinking to myself along 2 lines. Tell me if I'm wrong. Stop me and interrupt me at any time if I'm wrong. Okay.
No problem.
So
Yep.
I could be thinking 2 things. I could be thinking about myself and my own brand, whether that's as a Shoply influencer or as a career individual or somebody that owns a brand as a Shoply vendor that I want to enhance. So I'm thinking out of one side, I'm thinking for myself, but then I'm also possibly thinking about my contacts, my friends, my people that I know that would also benefit from the services. So I have the ability to sell it or to buy it and use it for myself. Fair statement so far?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would be thinking to myself, who do I know that's going to be in that position, wants to be in that, other than myself, who do I know that might want to have this personal branding or product and actual vendor-like branding as well, not just personal branding, but vendor branding.
Yeah.
Then I would refer them to you. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
incredible. That's an incredible thing. And I think it really highlights some of the major differences in the Shoply platform, which you alluded to at the very beginning. It's not just about products and not just about widgets. It's also about other opportunities to advance your business, which I love. Am I getting
Yeah,
it right?
absolutely. Yeah. No, you're hitting that nail right on the head, Rod. Yeah.
Okay. And so when they have the connection with you and they spend the time and you break down what their needs are and where they really want to go, is it you or a team of people that you work with or both that help either design the funnels or code in, create the website, create strategy with them? How do you operate?
It's me.
Is
It's
it
all
you?
me. Yeah.
Love it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I
great.
am, as you may have known, I am very work orientated
Yeah.
but I have this knack and this eye for detail and can envision what the brand looks like. And again, you were exactly right when you said it doesn't matter what stage you're at, whether you are just starting out and you have no idea even what a brand would look like, to, having nailed your brand, having it all on point, but maybe there's some adjustments that need to be created. And maybe you're not making enough sales, maybe there's the strategies and behind that something's not working, and maybe you're not connecting with your audience, maybe you're not showing up as you, and that is the biggest thing. So I actually don't believe in faceless brands. I know, don't get me wrong, I know they work for some people, but it goes against my nature that you are your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Although faceless brands could have a face with it that gets created, right? And could
Correct.
be
Yes,
could be a way to tell your story with a different face if that's your thing. So
that's
I
right.
think it's
Yeah.
amazing. Jade, thank you for spending some time with us tonight. So folks, you're here on the Zoom. You've been introduced to Simpler Health and now Jade with Lioness. And the interesting point is you get to refer people to these products as well. That's the main thing we do here is refer people to products. And so you've got to now take out your scratch paper, take out your phone, go through the list of your top 20 people that you recently have talked to and say, what would they need of these 2 products? What would they need of these 2 offerings? And then send them a text. You know how to do it. It's what we do here at Shoply. So I want to say thank you to you, Jade, and also to Dean again for spending some time with us. This will be recorded and posted on our Shoply YouTube channel, and also links to it on the Telegram space. So thank you for joining us tonight, to the both of you. This concludes our call. Next week, we already know we have Jeff Kolatsky from who we said hi to earlier. He'll be joining us, and we'll have some other vendors with us as well. So both to Jade and Dean, thank you again. This is Rod Larson from Shopley signing out and wishing you all a great evening or a great day. Thanks a lot.